Uh, Obviously, I couldn't go out like this, so one of the things that I did, and I actually did this before the surgery on advice from a gal who worked for the doctor, is I went to a local department store and I bought a couple of shirts that were on sale that were 2 sizes larger than I normally wear. I also went to a sewing store or cloth store and I bought Velcro. I'm not sure if you can see that little white patch there. I bought a roll of Velcro that was iron-on, and I took this shirt and I cut it right up the inside seam on the right side. Obviously, for me, you would cut it on the left side if you're having your left arm surgery. And then I ironed on some of these Velcro patches. And so the impact of that, let's see if I can do this with grace here, is I can wear this shirt like this. Let's see. So wearing this shirt was good because this black pillow looks terrible. I suppose if it was wintertime it would be cold out. And these little pieces of Velcro that I sewed on just fasten themselves to the pillow because the pillow is a big piece of Velcro. Now, I actually went out like this to the store and people were inevitably staring at me. And I found that the sooner I said to them, I had shoulder surgery and I have to keep my arm like this, the quicker they relaxed. They don't know what this thing is. I could be carrying a bomb for all they know. So in my case, saying as quick as I felt someone was uncomfortable, and I cared whether or not they were uncomfortable, I would say I had shoulder surgery. So when I first got home, I had this big bandage on my arm and the morphine pump. And I couldn't either take a shower because the bandaging here couldn't get wet, and also because because of the bandage I couldn't put a regular shirt on. So I stayed like this for a few days, and after that time I went to the doctor for a checkup. I think maybe that was 8 days or something. The doctor, I'm getting ahead of myself, the morphine pump. So after 2 days, after 48 hours, the morphine was done. I grabbed this tube and I just started pulling. And I pulled and I pulled and I pulled. Just felt a very minor amount of discomfort, nothing bad. And eventually this whole tube unwound, and it was surprising how long it was, probably 3.5 feet or something. And then after 8 or 10 days, I went to see the doctor. The doctor pulled the bandage off, and under the bandage, you can tell this is a reenactment. Under the bandage was a scar, and there was one long suture. While I was at that doctor appointment, they pulled the suture out, not a big deal. And they actually replaced these little tape strips here. I don't know if you can see them. I'll move in for a second on those. I think these strips are called steri strips, and apparently they're supposed to be on there, and they very slowly, the stickum on them wears out, and when they finally wear out, that's in the appropriate time for them to come off. So I actually had my surgery 6 weeks ago, and this is a little bit of a reenactment here. This pillow and this whole arm oriented this way is supposed to go on for 3 weeks in my case. I assume that's true for everyone, but your doctor obviously will guide you appropriately for your surgery. And after the 3 weeks, you're allowed to take this thing off. Again, I regularly loosened my wrist cuff and let my arm hang down, and I got a lot of help. I'm married, so I have a spouse to help me out, but obviously your parent, your friend, someone you hire, whatever, can come in and help you. And there's an exercise that has to be done, and I'll show you the exercise. I'll show you the exercise actually with my other arm and my daughter's help. So while my daughter's walking over here, I'll explain the exercise. So this arm over here is in this format right here, and approximately 2 times a day you have to get someone else to come, loosen that strap that's holding your arm in place, and raise your arm up like this. This is my daughter raising my arm up. While she's raising my arm up, I'm pushing down, because if I'm pushing down with my muscles, then I can't also pull up, and that's the key thing. You can't use these upper muscles. You can only use the ones that pull down. So I'm pulling down with my muscles. My daughter is fighting me pulling up. when you get to the top, I'm supposed to lean into her and push as much as I can. Obviously don't want to scream out in pain, but you can't just do it to where there's no pain. You have to do it to where there's a little pain, a little bit of resistance, because each day you're supposed to fight the scars and other problems that are in the surgery. I didn't get specific directions, but what I found was doing this twice a day, lifting up 5 times was good, holding it. And I also heard in a different place that if you could hold something for 40 seconds, that's optimum, no more, no less. So that's kind of what I did. My wife helped me. And when I was dropping my arm for the last time after 5, thank you, then my wife would put my arm right back in here and Velcro it back in. So after the 3 weeks, went to see the doctor says, yes, I'm doing fine and I can get rid of the pillow. So I was happy to get rid of the pillow, and let me just show you what I'm doing here. I'm slowly dropping this pillow, because now, after the 3 weeks, I am allowed to drop this arm down. So I am pushing this arm. I still can't use these muscles though. So I'm pushing this arm down, and now I'm holding my arm with my hand and letting my arm come to the side like this. So now for 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks is with the pillow, the second 3 weeks is with my arm hanging straight down. And I was given a sling. I forgot to bring the sling here so I could show you in the video. The sling is holding my arm in place like this. Again, my arm is a little longer maybe than most, and the sling didn't quite fit, so I had a little trouble with that. I did a little scissors and a safety pin work on that to try and make it more comfortable. But the instructions were to keep, the key instruction for these second 3 weeks is to keep this arm hanging down. I am not allowed to lift my arm up. I'm not allowed to use these muscles. So with my arm hanging down, I can still use my arm. You can see I could type. I can do feed myself, a lot of things, but the arm has to hang down. Going back slightly, while I was in the abductive pillow, sleep was challenging because you have to wear that thing 24 hours a day. So I happened to have a recliner. I was able to get a couple of good nights sleep in the recliner. I was also able to take practically every pillow we have in the house, bed pillows, couch pillows, anything I could find, and stack them up in different configurations and try and get some sleep. Mostly I was kind of, my body was angled like this and the pillow was somehow hanging off below me. Again, I'm doing this a little out of order, but after I got the bandage off, I was able to take showers. But again, my wife would get there in the shower with me and hold my arm up there at 45 degrees for the entire shower. So in the shower were 4 hands, but this hand was not useful, and one of my wife's hands was not useful if she was holding up my arm. So somehow between the 2 hands, they're able to shampoo and scrub and stuff like that. It's challenging, but it can be fun. And let's see. Tomorrow is actually when I go back to the doctor to get my 6 weeks checkup. And what I believe is going to happen is probably going to take off the rest of these steri strips, I believe they're called, and then give me permission to start moving my right arm, the arm of surgery, under my own power without any additional weight. So I can't hold a can of beans in my hand and try and lift those up, but maybe I'll be able to do my arm like this. I've noticed over the past week I've gotten a lot more strength and a lot more ability in this arm. For example, where I'm slightly lifting my arm inside the sling if it's needed for one reason or the other. So hopefully, let me just check my props here, make sure I've told you the whole story. Yeah, hopefully this video will be of help to you. 2 key things. You have to keep that pillow high enough so that your arm is at 45 degrees. And second, you have to get that exercise in every day. Lean into it somewhat. Make it hurt just a little bit so that you know you're slowly stretching that arm. And over these 6 weeks, my arm has slowly gotten so I could get it really high up, which is the goal, to be able to get your arms, obviously the arm of surgery, stretched really high up. Thanks and good luck. See if I can stop this.